music, um, lighting Palo Santo, really setting the scene intentionally for the drop into the intuitive channel of your journaling practice this morning. Today, we welcome the new moon in Taurus, and this new moon is the energy of grounding, self-worth, stability, abundance, and embodiment. What that means is that we are really being invited to materialize our manifestations, to collapse the timelines and bring it into physical existence a lot faster. So, whatever you're wanting right now, whatever you're manifesting, the good and the bad, it is probably going to happen very, very fast. So, be really mindful of what you're saying to yourself. Taurus energy invites you to slow down and reconnect to your body. And those that don't do that are the ones that are manifesting the things that they don't want. We want you to build from alignment, which comes from slowing down, not urgency, not I need this, I need more money, I need more clients, I need more time. We want to create sustainable abundance in all areas through focusing on self-worth and our personal standards. This is where we go from the root chakra up and we feel safe to receive more and we trust the journey, the slower growth, the journey of life and the joy in the journey of life when we ground our vision into reality now. So, if anything is coming up for you as I'm speaking, feel free to start to journal down what is coming through you. Because this particular new moon, it highlights money, abundance, stability, security, self-worth, embodiment, home and lifestyle. So, how we feel in our current day to day. So, remember how I said that slower journey, the slower pace, like that, most of that time is at home. How do we feel in that environment? Are we dominating through push, through must have, or are we embracing the feminine flow and energy through living intentionally? And this is where we receive more with ease through being all of us, through slowing down and honoring our self-worth. So I want you to ask yourself right now, the first journal prompt is where in your life are you craving more peace, softness, and stability? Write that down. The shadow side of Taurus looks like staying in comfort zones, fearing change, emotional eating or numbing, overworking for validation, and holding on to old identities. This is where we feel like we need certainty, like it must happen, it will happen before we actually take action. And manifestation works the opposite way to this. The shadow side is where we want to control the outcome, but even that desire to control pushes the timeline further away. So that awareness of the shadow is actually what creates the transformation because this is where we can let go of the old, outdated versions of ourselves to welcome in the new you, the dream state, the even like the Delulu self, like the delusional version of you that's like, I want this, I want this. And then when you embody it from the place of understanding your shadow and leaning in with love, that's where we make it happen. So, what we want to do with this new moon energy, which lands right and ripe today, is we want to journal what version of myself am I ready to release? And I want you to notice the triggers, that shadow, instead of reacting in the days ahead. This is about letting emotions move. And like, even for myself, the last couple of days, I have had tears, I have had waterworks. And I can see that my husband, his programmed response is wanting to like push it down and just like push it away. And that triggers the rejection part of me. So we have had to sit with that and go, all right, this doesn't work. Let's learn how to love each other through the change we desire. And what that means is him learning to hold me and see that tears are safe because a lot of us weren't taught that emotions are safe. And it's how we flow, especially if you have an emotional authority in human design. Those with a sacral authority are more likely to suppress, hold on, and it will absolutely volcano out in anger, which is what his shadow self has been, which is something that I am learning. He's learning to express in different ways and not let it all bottle up inside him so it comes out in that way. And I am learning to support him in that space. So it always comes out for all of us. So decide, who are you becoming now? If you are coming through the voice of love, like how do you show up in the voice of love when you're in that shadow? The powerful lesson in truth within the new moon, and this is true for full moons as well, is that they do trigger the old identity, that old version of you. It comes up to surface so that you can open the door to the next version of you by letting it go. But what most women do, and this is always a really powerful self-awareness right now, is that we will numb with food, drugs, alcohol, staying in the old patterns of the old stories of doubt and fear and scarcity. We will avoid. So, one program response for a lot of people is saying yes to everyone else. Yes, 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 busy, 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 rather than stopping and setting boundaries and sitting in the void. Okay. They will also avoid relationships, whether that's going all in with other relationships and avoiding others. That can come in many ways, or they will stay the same, which is a freeze response. And that's a trauma response. A freeze is where we do nothing. We like literally stay in bed and don't move, or like one of my freeze responses is like standing in the shower and just letting the water run. And I could be like, oh, 20 minutes is gone. Oh my goodness. Like you've done nothing. Okay. But the ones who lean in fast, they transform fast. So what you can do when you know your freeze response, you can put some boundaries around that. So my past freeze response was the shower. I now have a 5 minute timer that goes off after 5 minutes so that I know get out, move, 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 let's go. Okay. You might have that in the morning when you are going to the gym. It's like get up, get in those clothes, have them laid out, and let's go. So before we dive into our journaling, I want you to set the scene with an anchored intention. And for anyone this morning, what that means is grabbing your Palo Santo. And I always have a little candle every time I am recording or online. You might like to get an angel card or a crystal by. And just allowing yourself to drop in with your journal and saging the space. I always do my chakra rays, which is my Reiki, my Urama, welcoming in love, say Heiki. And then you might like to close down your eyes for a moment and just sit with the awareness of allowing what is to be. The power of intention reminds us that we are powerful creators when we live in present moment awareness. And what that takes is sometimes just to stop, to trust, and to be here now. To breathe in that magic, knowing that you are here for a reason. And the very base of our manifestations coming true for us comes from a regulated nervous system. From there, we can make all our dreams come true. So let's dive in to our first journal prompt. And for each of these, I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to a minute to write down the response. Okay. The first one is, where am I abandoning myself? So just writing down the first thing that comes to mind, and I'll move to the next one as we go through each of these. I'm going to do them with you. What habits are no longer aligned? What habits are no longer aligned? So these could be those self-sabotaging habits, the inner thoughts, or things that you are doing or not doing. What am I using to numb or avoid feeling? What am I using to numb or avoid feeling? Where do I crave external validation? Where do I crave external validation? What would slowing down allow me to hear? What would slowing down allow me to hear? What is my body asking for lately? What is my body asking for lately? So this new moon in Taurus is such a beautiful, beautiful sign. It's where we don't need to overwork to be worthy. And a lot of Taurians, like if you know them, they are hard workers, but they don't need to overwork to prove their worth. And that is one of their self-sabotaging traits as Taurians. When they work in alignment with their higher self, and for all of us, we are allowed to receive support. So if we're going through a challenge and if you're noticing like there's a repeating pattern in that shadow self side, receiving support and resting without guilt, like without needing validation to like stop, like your mum would be like, it's okay, you can rest now. Like having that external validation, we're allowed to do it and choose that for ourselves. We are also allowed to be seen in whatever we are. And that is such an authentic, beautiful thing to be seen in our challenges, to be seen in our success, to be seen in any shape and form of ourselves. And we are allowed to desire more than we currently have, and to extend ourselves to hold bigger standards for ourselves as we grow and transform, and to create wealth peacefully. Okay. This comes from our internal soul, yes. And that internal soul, yes, it will change and evolve as we change and evolve and we move the timelines of what we want. All we need to do is keep deciding. So this journey, it's about us building slowly and sustainably by really tapping back into ourselves and consistently asking like I don't need to overwork to be worthy. I am allowed to be all of me. And the quote at the bottom says, your self-worth sets the standard for what you allow into your life. So you set the standard. You set the standard for yourself, for what you are willing to receive in your life, how you want to work, how you want to feel worthy. And just to know that that doesn't come from overworking. It comes from letting yourself be all of you. So I want you to drop into yourself for a minute, because we're going to go to the other side of what are you calling in. You know what needs to go. You know what doesn't feel good, and you know where you're self-sabotaging and denying yourself the bliss, the flow, the peace of life ahead. So close your eyes, and I want you to take in a deep belly breath. Connecting into your mind's eye, the version of you already living your next level reality. And start to build that out now. What are you calling in? I want you to see how she moves, how she treats herself, what she no longer tolerates. She doesn't self-sabotage. She moves with flow. She doesn't have those limiting beliefs in her mind. She says, no, 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 I believe in myself. Notice how she speaks to herself. What does her daily life feel like? And breathe in that magic. Breathe in the magic and tap into what energy she embodies within herself. Now ask your higher self, what do you need me to remember? And as you open your eyes, write that down. What do you need me to remember? Write that down in your journal. As we tap into your future self, 30 seconds to a minute each on these, what would my higher self no longer accept? This best version of you, the most amazing version of you, what would she no longer accept? What standards is she living by? What standards in her daily life is she living by? Could be as simple as getting up, brushing her teeth, getting ready, going to the gym. What are the standards? What daily rituals support her peace? What daily rituals support her peace? And this beautiful practice is really about anchoring in this future self into your body through repetition. So if things are coming up again and again, that's really good. That's like you're going to step out today and go like, I need to take action on this. Let's go. How does she regulate instead of react? How does she regulate instead of react? How does she let go of all of those circulating emotions and feelings inside her body rather than bottling them all up? How does she regulate them instead of reacting and being that volcano? Could be journaling, breath work, meditation, crying, tapping. And sometimes even regulation is saying sorry when we've done wrong as well. It's such a beautiful thing. Sorry, thank you, I love you. Please forgive me. What beliefs does she embody around abundance? What are her beliefs? I want you to write down like 3 to 5 phrases. I am, I have, I am abundant. Money flows to me effortlessly. What does she believe, this future self? What does she trust deeply? What does she trust deeply? What is she calling me into next? So, your future self, where is she asking you to go? What is she asking you to act upon? These are called pings. So, it's like when we get this ping out of nowhere, it's like, oh, maybe I should do this. That is what she's calling you into. So, this is where we tap into our life by design and we really start to realize that your reality is built through your repeated thoughts, the emotional states you're holding, your daily standards, the nervous system safety you build from your root chakra up. Think of that Kundalini rising. Intentional choices through present moment awareness, self-leadership, where we lead ourselves and we don't need that external validation, but we lead ourselves. alignment over urgency. And this is your life that changes when your identity changes. And it is a consistent journey of upgrading yourself and really tapping into who am I? Am I living in alignment with my higher self? So, today's intentions, I want you to repeat in your mind's eye. I choose alignment, trust, overflow, peace, visibility, grounded abundance, emotional regulation, expansion, and self-honoring. And write down on your journal, I am now available for. Write down your manifestation. I'm writing down a few, getting a bit carried away with my I am now available for everything. So exciting. I love it. I love the energy when we really clean this slate. It opens up so much magic. It's like, hey, be a stand. Sometimes we need the time and space just to remind ourselves, like, where we are staying in the old story, staying in the lack or the scarcity, and it creates a spaciousness. And like, if you are walking forward today and not self-sabotaging, you are literally like a 5%er in the world doing that. A lot of people in moon energy, they just like fall short. There is the trap, there is the test, and they don't pass it. Okay. So this new moon, it's not asking you to become anyone else. It's asking you to deeply remember who you are at your core authenticity, your goddess self, your essence self. I want you to release fully what no longer fits. So you may like to, when we close off in a second, grab that piece of paper that you wrote down all of those shadow parts of yourself and scrunch it up, tear it away, put it outside in the bin or burn it or whatever you want to do. And then step back into your space and your energy and light some Palo Santo and trust your timing and set a little prayer and intention. And this is about honoring your energy and building your life so intentionally. You get to do that because the reality you desire begins with the version of you choose to embody every single day. And we're going to finish up today with anchoring in that truth and stepping into our day with beautiful, loving intentions. Now, I'm going to turn this off in a second, but what I'm going to invite you to do is in the next 5 minutes, because I think it's really important that after any self-development workshop or anything like that, that we sit for 5 minutes and map out the next half an hour, hour of our day with intentional energy. And that will carry forward for the rest of your day. So I am sending you so much love for the beautiful new moon ahead and enjoy. I hope you got a lot out of this morning and please share it if you did.